Hi, I'm Neil, and in this video we're going to do some spoon carving. Stay tuned. The project that we're going to do today is to carve a spoon. Simple, very useful project that at the end of it gives you something that you can use on your adventures out in the woods. Equipment wise, all we need is our knife, a crook or spoon knife for hollowing out the bowl, and a folding pruning saw for gathering our wood. The wood we're going to use today is a piece of willow. This is 3 fingers thick. Why 3 fingers? Because 3 fingers is just about as wide as your mouth. Check. And about as long as our forearm. Ideally, quite nice and straight grained with no or as few little knots or side branches coming out as possible. First thing we're going to need to do with our wood is split it in 2, and for that we're going to use our knife and a baton. And there we got our 2 pieces. It's got a slight curve to it, even better. For the next part, all I need to do is mark, using my knife, where the middle of the piece of wood is. Like so. So I've got where the middle of my piece of wood is. What I'm going to do now is cut down towards the line that I marked. Forms these feathers. Once I've cut in from that side, next thing I'm going to do is cut from the other direction, but this time I'm going to start much further back. And all I keep doing then is just rotating the piece of wood, and you can see I'm already starting to form a shallow curve in the base of my piece of wood. So you can see I've shaved out this curve in the middle, and you'll notice I've got a steepish curve on this side and a shallower curve on that side. Next thing that I'm going to do is on this steeper curve is I'm going to carve a small depression using my crook knife. When we're using a crook knife, when we cut across the grain. The grain runs up and down the tree. We want to cut across the tree. The action that we use is a scooping motion, almost like you're scooping out ice cream, or almost like you're peeling a potato. One of the useful things about having a long piece of wood like this and working near the centre is that to cut the bowl out, often I need to cut from one side or the other. This gives me a good handle on either side where I can grip the wood. One other thing with the actual depth of the scoop that we scoop out. We don't want it too deep, because if it's too deep, as you put it in your mouth and go to get your food off, the food settles in the bottom. So it wants to be a shallow curve, okay, less like a cup, more like a snow shovel. So there I have it, my little bowl cut. If you look at it from the side, it's already started to take on that graceful curve of a spoon. So next what I'm going to do, it's a bit long at the moment, so I'm going to trim it off at the front, just in front of where the bowl is, and I'm also going to trim off the excess on the handle. To do that, I'm going to use my pruning saw. So there it is, shortened down. When you're spoon carving, you always try and work in one dimension at a time. So we get it looking right from the side first. Now at the moment, this front's a bit too square. If I put it in my mouth, I'll probably knock my front teeth out. But also, I might want to make a little bit more shape to the handle, and also make the handle a little bit slimmer. So that's my next task. So, finer carving, glasses on again. As you're working away, keep checking your work. That way you're not going to cut too much off unexpectedly. So you do little cuts, plenty of them, keep checking your work. So here, as you can see, we've shaved that front edge up of our spoon. It's actually taking shape quite nicely now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start shaping the top of the handle down at the base just here. I'm going to round that off slightly. Getting there. Now I'm going to turn my attention to the back of the spoon. I'm going to make some cuts coming in from this direction, short steep cuts, and some other ones coming in long shallow cuts from that direction. For these cuts, where I'm cutting in quite steeply, I'm going to do a cut where I'm cutting towards myself. However, if this is done correctly and in a controlled way, it is perfectly safe. The way we do that is we take our piece of work and we place our fingers on the top of the work. We then place the other end onto our breastbone, and then making sure the point of the knife is facing upwards and gripping it forward, we hold it in like so. And it allows us to do a short controlled cut perfectly safely. What I've also started to do is remove the bark at this point. It's just starting to get in the way. So there she is, all done from the side, a nice curving from the back, a nice sweeping up where the bowl of our spoon is. So it looks good from the side. What we're now going to do is turn our attention to the actual spoon shape itself. And the first thing we're going to do is round off this bowl area. So next, I've rounded out the bowl. Now what I'm going to do is start just cutting in at the back of the bowl, ready to start shaping the handle. Like so. Then I'm going to do some long cuts again using this grip where I'm cutting back towards myself, but again making sure that the point is going upwards. I'm going to shave down from towards the top. Again, these are quite long, big curls. Once I've done that side, I'll turn the work over, do the same from the other side. There you go. Sides are now shaved down, and I'm going to cut again in from there, just above the bowl. Final cuts, just sort of rounding and shaping it. So there we have our finished spoon. Just short of an hour's work, nicely slimmed down with a nice graceful spoon shape. I think this will make a really good eating spoon. The only thing I really need to do to it now is perhaps treat it with some sort of oil, maybe a walnut oil, something where the moisture content will evaporate out and leave a coating over it, just to protect you. And just periodically oil it. Something like this should last you for years. This particular one, I've left the handle quite big, bigger than I would normally leave it. But that's because I want to make perhaps a little bit of further embellishment on it, and so this gives me a little bit of scope to do something perhaps a bit more arty with this one. So that's how I carve spoons. I've done it this way for years, and I've taught hundreds and hundreds of people to carve in this way. And well, have a go, see what results you get. Till next time, stay safe.